Hey, podcast lovers. Welcome back to Feed Drops, the podcast about podcasts. I am your host, Brian Colburn. I want to invite you to the Feed Drops monthly newsletter. You'll find helpful articles and even this show ad-free for paid subscribers. There's so much going on there, so please check it out for yourself. The link is in the show notes. Today, we're getting into a raw, reflective, and a little unfiltered show. Here's a clip.
The fear of missing out is like an actual diagnosis now because people are so, and like you said, there are people who can't put their phone down at all.
That was a clip from a fascinating episode from a show called Behind the Camera with AndyGames. The host, AndyGames, sits down with content creators and creatives aiming to pull back the curtain on who they are off camera. I love the concept. The guest, Mr. Whiskey, a U.S. Navy veteran, podcaster, and preacher who isn't afraid to get real about trauma, recovery, and hope. Over the 90-minute episode, they dive into generational pain, the ethical messiness of AI, and the mental health struggle Gen Z is grappling with. And through it all, there's an authenticity and vulnerability that you rarely hear. Let's break it down with our 10-point system. Audio quality, 7.5. Clean overall, but inconsistent in spots. Clarity, 7.5. Clear voices, a bit of overlap here and there. Content quality, 8.0. Deep, thoughtful, and honest. Pacing, 6.5. Could have used some trimming. Tone and delivery, 8.5. Emotionally engaging and authentic. Editing and post-production, 6.8. A bit raw, that's both a strength and a weakness. Sound design, 6.0, almost non-existent. Engagement, 7.4, powerful moments but a long ride. Host and guest dynamics, 8.7, incredible rapport. Audience appropriateness, 8.0, definitely for mature, introspective listeners. We'll be right back after this podcast service announcement. Every podcaster hits that wall. You've got a mic, a message, but no map. That's where Feed Drops Plus comes in. It's a creative community built by podcasters for podcasters, where collaboration beats competition. Get hands-on feedback, grow your reach, and connect with creators who actually care. Feed Drops Plus, because your podcast deserves more than silence. All right. That brings the final score to a solid 7.5 out of 10. What I loved Mr. Whiskey's story is gripping and grounded in truth. His balance of grit and grace is magnetic. Andy does a great job giving space, even if the episode would benefit from a tighter edit. This feels like one of those conversations that matters. Not because it's perfectly produced, but because it's real. If you're into shows like Diary of a CEO or Man Enough, or if you've ever been curious about the intersections of trauma, tech, and transformation, this one's worth your time. Go check out Behind the Camera with AndyGames, especially this episode with Mr. Whiskey. And if you like what you hear, give them some love, rate it, review it, or just DM Andy and say, keep going. And hey, if you're a creator and want your podcast featured here on Feed Drops, hit the link in the show notes to visit feeddrops.com to submit your episode. That's a wrap for this week. Thanks for listening.